Keitel, Sam Neill. The thing and original. It is a triumph.
Fresh.
One of the most
Keep
enchanting love
trying.
stories ever filmed.
Are we here? Are we here?
Erotic.
Do we see me yet?
Mysterious.
Are we back yet?
Exquisite.
Okay, good. We're back.
Jane
That's
Campion is one of the most splendid filmmakers.
We're watching the trailer for The Piano. Iconic 90s film. We all remember it being parodied on The Critic with the slide whistle.
World, passion.
I think this was
no
parodied
limits.
in... no, wait, I'm thinking of Nell. Nell was parodied in
The Piano. From acclaimed director Jane Campion.
Plump Fiction. Yeah, sorry about my internet, guys. It's not great. I gotta do some more reflecting and learning.
Randy had the world at his fingertips, but just when he had it all in control,
That's good. It could be worse.
things took a turn for the worse.
We watched this.
I'm going to confiscate every model in the house.
3 men suspected of robbing a local convenience store are still at large tonight.
I believe we. Oh, it's the Pee Wee. It's the Pee Wee music.
Armed and dangerous.
I've never known anyone.
Pee Wee's Big Adventure music.
My mom's threatening to confiscate every model.
This was my
So I'm
favorite
taking him to the
direct-to-video
he was about
Moonbeam
to find
Entertainment
out what real
movie
trouble was
when I was
all
a kid.
about.
Wow, this is a real pretty house.
And one of the last times I went into Movie Madness, they were watching it.
Cops give up on the roadblocks 3-4 days maybe.
Now he's matching wits with 3 outlaws who are about to outwit themselves.
No!
Error by error,
I think this is a pretty good premise for a movie.
blunder by blunder,
Come quick, someone's coming!
Don't worry, kid, we're not gonna hurt you.
Oh, no, look, they got the army after us!
and blow by blow.
You gotta be pretty smart to get away from Louis.
Yeah, it's like a knockoff of the Pee Wee music. Like it's every fourth note is like slightly
Just how
off.
far a kid will go.
So yeah, it's about 3 burglars who are holed up in a model home, and the kid is hiding out in the attic of the model home because that's where he likes to hang out, and he can't leave
Remote.
because
A
the burglars are down
powered
there.
by adventure.
Oh wait, I have to hit pause. I also remember, because I don't want to talk over the next trailer. I'm pausing this to tell you a story. There was this girl I knew, and her little sister. So I would hang out at their house quite a bit because it was like 2 girls, and the older sister was my age, the younger sister was my sister's age, and we were all friends. At the age of like 7, I considered this girl my girlfriend, and like we kissed and stuff. It was adorable. And I would bring movies over to watch, and I remember the little sister of this family. She had this awful habit. What she would do is she would walk in while I was watching something on their TV, and then she would comment on it in a way that kind of proved that she didn't understand what was going. She shouldn't have understood what was going on because she was walking into the middle of a movie, but she would always comment on it incorrectly, like with a false premise, and then leave before I could like say anything. Not that I should say anything either. It was just one of the most aggravating things that would ever happen, at that time in my life. So I remember like I was watching Police Squad, the Zucker brothers, the show, the precursor to Naked Gun. And she came in and she was like, ugh, boys always like cop shows, even though they're boring. And then she left before I could be like, it's a spoof. But I mean, like, not that like spoofs are also a boy thing. But I remember I was watching Remote, and there was a scene where he's trying to escape the basement because the burglars walk outside and start like smoking and having like a conversation, and then he's like dangling over their heads basically, and he has to like sneak back into the attic before he gets detected by them. Because they don't know that he's also hiding out there. And I remember she like went, "Ooh, sneaking out of the house. What a bad boy." And then she left the room. She would always somehow interpret the exact opposite of what was happening on screen and then leave before I could like yell at her. Which she should have done. She should have stayed so that I could yell at her. But yeah, that was, and I only remember this person as the as the girl who did that.
20th Century Fox presents the motion
I hate that I'm
picture
Richard
event
Lewis.
of the summer.
And you're watching
The summer of
20th Century
1125 AD.
That's him! Robin Hood.
Good evening.
The Hoods from the Woods are back.
There is a 60-year-old man at my work who references this
Little John.
movie surprisingly on a regular
The
basis.
Sheriff of Rottingham.
I challenge you to a duel.
I loved this when I was
Maid Marian.
when it was new, when I was young.
It's an everlast.
And
And this is like one of the first Mel Brooks movies that I ever
He's the first action hero.
revised my opinion on drastically. This is a particularly bad one.
And the last word in comedy.
And why should the people listen to you?
Because, unlike some other Robin Hoods, I can speak with an English accent.
Robin Hood. Men.
And then I
in
saw
Paris.
the Kevin
A
Costner
Mel Brooks
movie,
film.
like kind of recently.
The legend had
And
its
it's amazing how much of it is like a shot-for-shot, like beat-for-beat parody of that one movie.
Mom, come on. I got a game.
But then I found out Young Frankenstein. I saw Son of Frankenstein, like the Universal horror movie, Son of Frankenstein. It's almost the same deal with Young Frankenstein. A lot of it comes from that one movie.
Reality. Until one day,
Rookie of the Year. There's a weird. Okay. It's extremely corny, but I remember loving this movie.
August. And now rotate from the shoulder slowly.
Watch this.
Whoa! Funky butt loving.
Did he say funky butt loving?
His tendons have healed.
I think that's a legitimately very funny joke. Did he say funky butt loving? And it's kind of a like. It's kind of a very modern sounding joke.
You can play for the Cubs. Hey,
in the big leagues.
I'm the new pitcher.
12-year-old Henry Rowan the youngest person in history.
John Candy's in it. I didn't remember that he was in this until just now.
Hi, Henry. Welcome to the big show. Now.
But what can one sixth grader do against pros like these?
Give me the good stuff.
This was like a one in a series. We watched the Sandlot trailer. That was also '93, but we watched that as part of the Dennis Leary stream.
What's the matter? Chicken?
No, it's an incredibly like childish brain movie, but it has like really good moments. I like the mom, like the mother-son stuff is really sweet. He loses his powers, but then he uses ingenuity to trick the adults. Yeah, it's legit for kids.
Well, I can do just about anything right now. Looks like it's
I don't need you.
Are you sure? Because there are plenty of people in here. I'm sure that you can just add me right in, and I could do something just fine for you.
This is
the award-winning feature film debut of an extraordinary
Ruby in Paradise.
Ashley Judd.
Debut of Ashley Judd. This is the movie she was promoting on Space Ghost.
I want to be. I think we'll carry it. Every girl's dream.
Ruby in Paradise.
It's got blackballed by Tim and Eric, Gary Busey. Gary Busey. Oh yeah, I can't wait to be funny about this movie. I had some funny stuff to say. I've seen this movie, of course. We've all seen this film. Probably were shown it in school. I don't really remember this movie that well. I might not have been mature enough to have this movie kind of stick with me. But I kind of hate Spielberg, mostly.
I'd make sure it's known the company's in business. I'd see that it had a certain panache. That's what I'm good at. Not the work, not the work.
Wow.
Presentation. Kielbasa sausage, cheeses,
I remember...
And of course, who could live without German cigarettes?
Oh my god. Can I remember her name?
It's more fresh fruit. The real rarities, oranges, lemons, pineapples. I need several boxes of Cuban
Oh my
cigars.
god.
And dark unsweetened chocolate.
I remember I had a crush on a girl who wrote for a movie website, and she wrote a really like edgelordy review of this movie. And I don't remember what her name was.
I expect to be compensated.
He's on the list.
But I was easily impressed. I was probably like 13, and I remember I think I tried to email her because I thought she was cool. Because of her edgelord review of Schindler's List. And I remember her email address was platinumwhore@geocities.com.
Yeah, why is top down? I'm fucking freezing. What's her name?
I gotta find her. I gotta find out if she got arrested during the January 6th riots. I was not expecting to tell that story. I just remembered it as we were watching this.
These in your pocket.
Oh yeah, you told me about that. You told me about the Schindler's List. I remember one of the songs. It went like, "Can you make it? Can you make it? Can you make it on Schindler's List?" Yeah. Good night, London. And you told me there was like a guy who'd go like, there was like an old guy and he goes,
You know what kind of work I do, right?
He goes, "I can't," and then he drops dead.
You know it's dangerous. And you know there's things you can't know for your own safety, right?
I was just asking about dinner.
From the director of The Player.
This is Robert Altman, Shortcuts.
Oh, but wait, make me beg for it. Oh, please, harder. Oh,
You might have seen it as, under its original title, Magnolia.
Did you give JoJo his eardrops?
I, of course, have seen
Robert
this.
Altman brings us his visionary new film based on the writings of Raymond Carver.
It's based on the writings of Raymond Carver.
Outstanding actors. Shortcuts raises the roof on America and intimately explores a mosaic of characters.
It's a very long movie. It's like 3 hours.
The doubts, the desires that bind them together.
I said, "Ola, if I have one more beer, I'm gonna have to take a nap." And she says, "I wondered what it would take to get you into bed." Hey, I don't know, I didn't want to hurt her feelings. No. I mean, after all, it was your mother's sister.
Checking my email.
With love.
Just wanted to see if Platinum Whore at GeoCities ever wrote me back. You know,
Time to get off.
I almost had the trailer for,
About an hour.
I think it's called 32 Short Films About Glenn Gould. That is a 93 release, but that did not make my list, my playlist. I remember the video box for this when I was a kid, and I was like, what is that movie about?
Totally real.
Like, it just bothered me that there was, like, movies that adults watched that there was no, like, super, like, high concept thing to define it. Like, the idea of an ensemble drama. That was, like, my introduction to the idea of just an ensemble drama.
Hi, my name is Mike Myers. Perhaps you recognize me from my recent motion picture, Wayne's World. Thanks. As you can see, I'm on the set of my new film in which I play a young fellow named Charlie, who gets a little more than he bargained for. For example, there's suspense.
So there's
Mrs. X. She murders her husband on her honeymoon, then she changes her identity and marries again.
I never heard of it, so what?
I think I'm dating Mrs. X.
I fucking loved this movie.
The Justice Department reports an alarming rise in the number of poisoning murders across the United States.
Nancy Travis really did cut her. She cut the tip of her finger off during the butcher scene.
There's action.
Charlie, there's something I've been meaning to tell you.
This has a very aspirational, like, view of adulthood. I thought I was going to be like
And of course, there's plenty of
hanging out in coffee shops and watching poetry.
What do you look for in a girl you date?
I know everyone always says sense of humor, but I'd really have to go with breast size.
You're lying on your side, totally asleep. I could just stick a needle in you.
So,
The soundtrack I really loved.
it has all the elements of a truly great motion picture. Oh, did I mention
The cover of There She Goes.
Hello, sweetheart.
In the beginning, I remember that was the first time I'd heard
darling?
any version of that song. I forget I forget who does it for the movie. It's the Laws. Originally. But yeah, that is a wonderful film.
It was a peaceful farming community.
Extremely 90s.
A place where everything had stayed the same for generations.
We've watched this. Some of us have seen this together.
We've always known that someday
somewhat
change
recently.
would come, but no one expected it to come home with the girl next door.
Little America. Who the hell is that?
I have a CD of this man.
He's weird.
He's like nothing they've ever seen. Nothing they've ever heard.
I don't want to be rude or anything, but Miss Warner, you're giving me a semi.
This is the first.
So basically, we're
This
not
is the
gonna be
first time
hanging
I
out.
ever saw like two like
After
hot
spending a
chicks
little time
making out
together.
together.
You're just
in
an
a
old
movie.
hacker disguised as an idiot.
Why don't you put a little makeup on it?
The great American
And I didn't know what to
family
think of it at the time.
No, I think I do.
will never be the same again.
Let's chow down here and munch some grinding.
And he'll turn one small town into one huge party.
Check out the wood that I created for him. You okay?
Yeah, it's not not even like fun. Ironically, it's not Encino Man.
The son-in-law.
I mean, this is like
Your kids are gonna look like.
it's more like this and Black Sheep go hand in hand. It's kind of just like the inferior follow-up, you know? The sophomore effort. I mean, like, Adam Sandler's the only person like that who's escaped that idea, because he did Billy Madison and then Happy Gilmore. It was a 2-movie test, and he passed, so he gets to keep making them forever until, you know, the sun burns out.
The universe next door. An alternate world separated by time and space, and yet somehow joined and contiguous with our own.
Mario Brothers Plumbing. No leak too small. No. Don't touch it. No, it's not a big problem. Just leave it to the professionals. We'll be right there. Luigi. We
sorry
got
to hear
a
that.
dishwasher at the Riverfront Cafe. You know what that means? Yeah. We got Mike.
As a gamer, you should appreciate this trailer. This is like a European trailer, I think. This is not... No, he's Italian.
How do you know?
Come on.
I've been listening to pipes all my life. Come on.
This is maybe one of the most disappointing films. I like how it starts. I just wish that they didn't reimagine... You know... This is the Mushroom Kingdom? It's not fucking Blade Runner.
Koopa clown. We gotta talk to that goofball now.
That Koopa clown?
This one evil. Egg-sucking son of a...
I kind of want to watch the
princess is here.
the Morton Jenkel cut. Pieced together by Garrett Gilchrist, the author of
You may think of
Thief and the
evolution
Cobbler,
as
recobbled.
an upward process. Loyal child of the royal family.
Fan edit that edits in an extensive amount of deleted footage,
Our species.
expanding the movies.
Name? Mario. Last name?
Mario.
Okay, what's your name?
Luigi.
This is a good game.
Luigi Mario.
The idea that they're the Mario brothers, so they can share the last name. Mario's
Going down.
That's funny. It's like that scene when Han Solo gets his name. You've told me that and it's never stopped being funny. But then they came out with Mario Picross and you were like, yes.
Whoa! New Line Cinema presents an awesome, rippin', totally stoked
Get on with it.
new movie, Surf Ninjas. It's the story
Wow.
of these kids who
This is
get
a very
booted from their
stylistic
country by this
trailer.
evil dude.
That was then.
Now they're growing up in L.A. And their life's one
Oh my
major
God.
vacation.
Just got a waxy old man-to-wave friction-reducing vehicle. Surfboard.
But some
It's,
gnarly ninjas give them a blast from their past.
Rob Schneider playing a teenager.
So they gotta split with their one-eyed guru,
Your Highnesses.
huh? And go back and save their country. Which is cool, because they meet this mystery babe.
You want to go to the mall sometime?
And like one
This is
dude
a fascinating trailer.
gets these superpowers. One can see the future in his Sega game.
What?
And
No way.
well, one's a geek.
There's dynamite here. We'll throw it at him.
Is this Cody Lambert?
1, 2, dude.
Cody Lambert cut this together?
They gotta fight the righteous fight.
Codeman's trailers.
Basically kicks up.
Should revive Step by Step and have Cody be like a YouTuber, and all he does is he recuts movie trailers.
Rob Schneider.
He kind of dudifies them.
You can get a job as a sushi chef, no problem.
Wild Thing, Tone Loc,
Brothers don't serve.
and Leslie Nielsen as Colonel Chief.
Wow. How was it? Was it really good?
Evil is real. Surf
sorry.
Leslie Nielsen. I'm positive he was.
They came from the city.
This is it. This place looks worse than the project. It's too goddamn quiet.
To enjoy.
Oh yeah, okay.
Kind of wildlife.
I've seen this.
Sometimes I get the feeling like something really bad is gonna happen.
But I don't really remember that
but
well.
Life in the wilderness
It's actually called Ticks.
is getting under their skin.
But this trailer is has the working title Infested. And that's Seth Green. Seth Green and Carlton are in this.
It's a tick.
Ticks do not get this big.
Yeah, I remember liking it.
They'll be all over this place like flies.
And I'm so mad that Seth Green did not participate in the Blu-ray extras in Vinegar Syndrome movies. Yes, it is.
Infested.
The bugs are huge, dude.
They hatch. They kill.
Or to quote Tiny Elvis, whoa, those bugs are huge. Remember when Rob Schneider was Tiny Elvis?
From the director of Top Gun and Beverly Hills Cop 2.
It was Andrew Dice Clay in the first sketch, but then they repeated it with Rob Schneider.
Did you get the letter?
What letter?
He wants to talk to you.
No time. Tell him we gotta go.
A call girl.
You cop all day?
Huh?
I'm Alabama.
God, it's shiny. This is a shiny
She seems
DVD.
very nice. What are you doing in LA anyway, huh?
And a suitcase
Both
full
the
of trouble.
slipcover and the box are embossed.
Counsel for Mr. Blue Boyle, the man your son stole from.
Now, all that
I'm the
stands between
leprechaun.
them and their wildest dreams.
Find out who this wing and a prayer artist is and take him off at the neck.
I love this movie
Our 60 cops.
in high school. I've not
agents.
tried to watch it since, really. It's been a very long time since I've seen this.
30 mobsters.
I haven't killed anybody.
Bronson Pinchot is covered in cocaine at one point.
And a few thousand bullets.
We're all gonna die here. These are
I remember watching this and being like, that's Balky. Seems like it would go down easy. And I love the song
Christian Slater
at the beginning, which I think is
Patricia
based on
Dennis Hopper, Val Kilmer, Gary Oldman, Brad Pitt, Christopher Walken.
the music from Badlands.
In a Tony Scott film.
I think what you did was so romantic.
Not since Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, they have to, because they have to go towards some kind of like
at being bad. True romance.
they suddenly have to start kind of stumbling towards some downer ending that they don't really have in their heart, you know. Or no, it doesn't have a downer ending. I think it was written with a downer ending, and then they changed it. So remember, Quentin Tarantino does the commentary. He doesn't do commentary on his own movies, but he does commentary on movies that he wrote the screenplay for, but didn't direct. He will show up in things like that. I love listening to him talk about movies. I've never been repulsed by him to the point where I don't enjoy him.
Will reach a whopping $14 million.
Ah, yes! 33, 42. This bill is my destiny! Son of a bitch!
For most immigrants,
This is a movie called 20 Bucks.
Skyline, but for me, it was that $20 bill. Think of it as your wedding present.
The premise of this film is that a $20 bill gets passed from person to person, and the movie suddenly will shift focus
If Daddy can't trust you with a simple $20 bill, how's he ever gonna
to
$20 million?
whoever possesses the $20 bill.
Kathy, let's go.
So it's almost like an anthology movie.
And there's fate.
I'm looking for a partner.
Are you freaking crazy? I don't even know you.
And I don't actually remember this movie that well, but I remember
$2.49.
What are you doing?
forcing myself to like it because I kind of liked the concept so much.
Now is not the right time.
Thanks.
No, they didn't. That was a full-body suit that looks like nudity that isn't nudity.
You know, this is
That was
against the law.
like a foam suit.
Sometimes you get a feeling, and you have to trust that feeling.
I just remember one part where somebody does cocaine with it.
I really don't think that'll help.
That was Matt Frewer.
Where are you going?
I don't know exactly.
I hope you know what you're doing.
It's an extremely 90s style indie
What are you
movie
going to do now?
that has
I don't have any idea.
giant stars in
Oh
it.
my god. Ma'am, I'm sorry, excuse me.
5 lottery tickets, please. Sorry, the computer's just jammed again. That is so odd.
Yeah, I remember him being in the movie, but I remember Buscemi and almost nothing else. I remember Buscemi and somebody doing coke with the $20 bill, and that's all I remember from that movie. But I've seen it. Okay, so we do have a Siskel and Ebert at the end. If you want to stick around, we'll wind down with a Siskel and Ebert episode tonight.
Until they made their first stop.
How long is this trailer? Okay, now.
The hell is taking her so long?
So we're almost at the end of the trailers, is my point. And then tonight's Siskel and Ebert is commercial free, unfortunately. So it'll only run about 21 minutes.
30 days, you can set your watch by it.
For 3 years, he couldn't forget.
And I'm probably going to pee when it
Let her go,
starts.
Jeff.
Not what it is like to not know.
She's gone, Jeff. You may never find out how or why. You just have to learn to accept that.
The kidnapper is watching. Anything you like to
This
say
is The
to
Vanishing.
him right now?
It's a remake of
What
a
happened to Diane?
Dutch
I'm prepared to
film,
do
I
anything
think.
to find out.
But just gonna go on and on and on until you end up as crazy.
The original is in the Criterion Collection. This
I'm the man
version
you're
is
looking for. I'm Barney.
not well
I
respected,
just want to
but
know.
it's an American
That's why I don't
remake.
need a gun. Your obsession is my weapon.
Jeff Bridges does kind of a
You take me to Diane. He was
kind of a
wrong.
dumb guy
Find out
voice.
everything. You must experience what she experienced.
Where's Jeff?
This coffee is drugged. Drink, and you will experience exactly what she experienced.
It almost sounds like he's doing like a Dr. Evil impression.
Is he dead?
No!
Jeff Bridges, Kiefer Sutherland, Nancy Travis. The Vanishing.
Nancy Travis couldn't keep her off screen in 1993. They were like classy. It was the year of the classy lady because he had Andy McDowell in Groundhog Day. You'd be like, ooh, I like her. She's classy, you know. The other boys like Pamela Anderson. I like Andy McDowell.
Oh,
What?
Hi.
Hello.
All right. All right. Excellent THX, Garth.
Good work, my friend.
Hey, you
No
know where this
way.
advanced sound technology would really work great?
Gee, I wonder where, Wayne.
Why, in a sequel.
included a second trailer for Wayne's World. That was...
Paramount Pictures presents...
Shit, I wrote it down. Okay, so that last trailer...
Wayne.
It's Heather Locklear. There is a
That's
God.
the YouTube account I got it from.
And Garth.
Holding it up.
In their first movie since their last one.
Because I don't know how to say it.
It's called,
Wayne's
That's the account I got it from on YouTube.
People need to be entertained. They need
It's like
distraction.
FCD.
yes,
Custom 35mm scans.
a ox and a Makita cop.
What? They've moved out of the basement.
I'm what you call Sans parents.
And into the spotlight.
Yes, and could I please
At one time, thought Wayne's World 2 was better than Wayne's World 1.
Let me try to
I no longer
recap the order.
feel that
Two
way.
sugar pucks, a Stanley cup, a large coffee with cream, a raspberry jelly donut, orange drink, and a box of 5 holes.
But I love this movie.
It's the love affair of the year.
I'm Honey. Hornay.
Nice to meet you, Miss
And it was sad hearing
Where?
Dana Carvey
I'm low
talk
on
about
gas
it
and
on
you need a
Harmon
jacket.
Town.
It's the fight of the decade.
He's very hard on himself over this movie. He feels like he ruined it.
And the rock concert of the century.
Mr. Campbell, you're serious about putting on a rock concert? Are you kidding? I'd give my right eye.
It's him doing his Columbo impression.
It's Wayne.
I promised myself I wouldn't cry.
Last time I watched this, the thing that struck me is that the soundtrack sucked.
It's a
It wasn't as
whole
good
new
as the
world.
first one.
And it's hurling your way. Wayne's World 2.
Oh, I almost forgot. This year Garth finally got pubes.
It's the sequel you knew was coming.
That's how I learned what pubes were.
Pubes, did you?
A friend of mine had to explain that joke to me. Steven Surgic. Yeah, it made me sad. It made me realize that like Mike Myers probably didn't actually have like a cool taste in music.
Are you sure?
Yep, that's him.
America's favorite stiff is back.
That's Bernie Lomax. I recognize that smirk anywhere.
But this corpse has a job
Thank
to
you,
do.
dipshit, with the
Found
assist.
this in Bernie's wallet. It's a key to a safety deposit box in St. Thomas. That's the $2 million that Lomax stole. It's noted as a personal entry.
I
What does it
noticed
mean?
that.
The only one who could get in is Bernie Lomax personally, and well, he's kind of dead right now. We go back to the morgue. We get the body. We go to St. Thomas. We take Bernie to the bank.
So they're packing him up.
I think I'm gonna sit down. Thanks.
It's so
and
absurd
heading for the island.
that they made a sequel to Weekend at Bernie's.
But they're about to discover
Raise this man from the dead. He will lead you to where he has hidden the money.
that Bernie Lomax is more popular than ever.
2 guys. They're taking Bernie. Bitch. Claire? Get out of the way! What'd you do with Bernie?
I remember, so this movie, the premise of the movie is that he comes to life because of a voodoo curse.
Guard a dead man stuck in a 2-foot refrigerator.
He's got
Yeah,
style.
he dances around.
You're so cute.
I remember when they showed Weekend at Bernie's for the first time on TV,
He's just got no
they
soul.
filmed,
I just saw a dead man walking on the bottom of
the actors filmed bumpers, like on the Fox debut.
But that never stopped Bernie.
They were promoting, I think, part 2, and they had like Bernie's corpse with them in the
being
bumpers, and I
life of
remember
the party.
it creeped me out.
You. You're the bravest guy I've
I remember this
ever
movie
Weekend
because
at Bernie's too. No
there's a
one
part where you can
does
see
dead
a nipple.
like Bernie.
There's a girl's top comes off and she covers up, but then it pops out from under her arm and you can freeze frame it. I remember me and my friend freeze framing the video
It's a
and
town where nothing much ever happens.
checking out Nip.
This is where I live with my family. Doctor said we'd be lucky if Arnie lived to be 10.
I could go at any time.
Arnie, don't be rude.
I haven't seen this movie in a
Some
very
days
long
you want to
time.
live.
I killed him, Gilbert.
I know, buddy.
Okay, son, come down now.
Some days you don't.
When is this gonna stop?
I remember thinking it was good.
And then there's Mama.
That's my mom in there.
You see, with Mama,
And
there's no nice
Leonardo
way to break it to you.
DiCaprio's performance
Not all
is
that big,
really
Gilbert.
good.
I saw a guy at the state fair who was a little bit bigger.
I haven't always been like this.
I haven't always been
It
like
seems like
this.
a very
Need a delivery later.
a very watchable.
Nothing ever happens here.
It's those lobsters, isn't it?
Yeah, and I probably will cry if I watch this again. I'll be like...
Sometimes I just want to stick her head in the oven and turn on the gas.
And then I'll probably remember, like, some mean-spirited joke I made to a friend during it, and then, like...
We're taking him in. We've warned you.
Get, like, even sadder.
They say there's a reason for everything.
My son! Give me my son!
Maybe someday I'll figure out what it is.
What is she, Mel Gibson?
Praying man.
I don't want to riff. I don't want to riff during this. This seems like a very...
Sneak up on the female, and she'll bite off his head, and the rest of his body will keep on mating, and then when they're done, she'll eat
I think she
them.
pees in this movie too. But I might just have pee on the brain. Okay. Oh, we got one more trailer. We got one more trailer, and then we got a Siskel and Ebert. And I'm going to explain myself. I'll finally explain the game that we've been playing tonight.
Young lady, what is wrong with you? Cut out all that wild gyration and blues shouting.
All she ever had was her voice and her dream.
It's like,
to go away for a while.
When is she coming back to get me?
What's the one that's coming out? There's like, isn't it? Is it Whitney Houston? Is that the biopic that's coming
to make
out?
her dreams come true.
Every woman in here want to sing with Ike's band. Oh, please don't leave me, baby.
This is What's Love Got to Do with It?
Girl, you shocked the hell out of me.
Say you want me to be his new singer.
Watch yourself. You know what they say about Ike.
I Want to Dance with Somebody. That's the movie that's coming out. The new movie.
Priceless, girl.
Yeah,
This
this is the Tina Turner story, this film that we're currently
Everyone who's come up with me has left me.
I wouldn't do that.
What the problem is?
I'm trying to help Ike, all right?
You trying to help Ike?
You got yourself a good
And of course
man.
I've seen
You just
this.
keep him happy.
1, 2, 3.
I was about to say this looks good, but
Giving
that
him
would...
everything he wanted.
I know, I already know, because I've seen
Keep
this.
hiding black eyes from us. I just can't walk out.
She never stopped believing things would change.
I just need a rest.
She's quite ill, and I'm not releasing her for at least another 3 weeks. Oh, no. I need you to get out on that stage.
Cowboy Curtis. That guy was, that guy
But if she
had a
ever wanted to find her dreams,
When you can see yourself clearly, your life will change.
she had to start believing in herself.
That guy did other stuff instead of, you know, did you know that?
Just
That
release the
guy
claim on my name.
in the
And you're gonna
Matrix
walk
did
out
other
here
stuff.
with absolutely nothing.
Did you know
Except
that?
my name.
Touchstone Pictures presents the story of a remarkable woman who refused to give up.
I'm ready. I'm ready, and I know what I want.
All right. We've watched, I think, almost 50 movie trailers tonight. Okay, so, you know what I'm going to do? Down a little bit. This, unfortunately, this file is very small. Yeah, trust Ebert, baby. Take a look at that again. So tonight, we've watched a bunch of trailers. You know what? I'm gonna pee. I'll be right back. Okay. Sorry about that. So, tonight we've watched a bunch of movie trailers. Most of them were for movies that I've seen before. Some of them are actually Siskel and Ebert's top picks for movies from 1993. Similar to their show from the about their favorite movies from the 80s, this is their favorite movies from 1993. So some of these movies I have in fact not seen, but they are on the Siskel and Ebert list. Some of them are movies I've seen that are on their list. So tonight, see, you can see what I mean when I say I didn't really like solidify the game aspect of this. I'm gonna let this play, and I'm going to point out which movies
My mother started the Joy Luck
I've
Club,
seen.
having met all these women in church.
The Joy Luck Club.
Hey, give up the car right now.
Menace to society.
Buster, these men in a blue top coat waving a gun and screaming, "Red!" and a woman. Stop that man!
I've seen The Fugitive.
What do they have in common? Each is on either Roger,
But I have not
or
seen
mine,
The Joy
or
Luck
maybe
Club,
both of our lists of
and I
the
have
10
not
best
seen
films of 1993, and that's
Menace
saying a
to
lot,
Society.
because 1993 had more good films than any year since the 1970s, the last golden era of American movie making. Get your pencils ready, because at the end of this show, we're going to each list all of our 10 favorites. I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune.
And I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times, and I'd like to start with the number 9 choice on my list this year, a movie that I hope the Academy Award voters don't forget about just because it came out last summer. It's called What's Love Got to Do with It, and it's one of the best musical biographies I've seen.
I've
both
not seen
because of
that.
the music and because of the biography.
No,
It tells
I
the
was
life
just
story
afraid of
rock
the
star
concept
Tina
of
Turner,
drive-bys.
who was born Anna Mae Bullock in Nutbush, Tennessee, and whose life was transformed for the better and
Somebody
for
told
the
me,
worse when she met a band leader
like in
named
Dare
Ike
or somebody,
Turner.
it's
He changed
like
her
a
name.
teacher
they became stars,
described
but
a
their personal
drive-by
life
shooting.
was rocked by violence.
What's the matter, baby?
And I thought they were completely random.
Oh, come on now, open your mouth. See that white man
Like-
has to open the mouth, she sing all damn day long. I ask you ain't gonna
They
say
describe them as like it's when a bunch of gangsters get in a car
And right
and
there
they
you
just
see two of
drive
the best
past
movie performances of
they
the
just
year by
drive down the
Angela
street
Bassett as
shooting
Tina Turner
people for no
and Lawrence
reason.
Fishburne as Ike Turner. So many showbiz biopics simply follow the
And so
same
the whole
old
concept
rags
of like,
to
oh, you're in the
formula,
wrong
but
place at the
what's
wrong
love got to
time.
do
They're
with it
trying
is
to
smart
shoot
about
somebody
the
else,
music
but you
business
just
and
happen to
wise
get like
about
shot
the
on because
chemistry
you're
of
there.
their relationship. When Tina finds the courage to go out on her own, it's a dramatic moment.
They're not
and
just
also
doing them
a very
randomly just to
truthful
kill
one.
I admired the film
random
tremendously. I
people,
also hope the Academy
usually.
doesn't forget it. These are two of the
I mean,
best
nowadays,
performances
yes,
of the year. It just missed making
White
my
people
top 10. I had about 15 pictures that were top 10
It was
material.
hard this year. It was a bloodletting for me
White
trying
people
to get
who aren't in
20 good movies
I mean,
into a
unless
list
the-
with 10
unless
titles
the
on it.
When this
Republicans
comes
are
out on
game.
videotape, I hope that people will rent it if they didn't see it. It is a special picture. Okay, now to my list. I'll start with number 9 on my list. A film you won't find on many other critics' lists is Steven Soderbergh's King of the Hill, his marvelous Depression-era drama set in St. Louis in 1933.
I've not seen King of the Hill.
Told from a
I've seen very
precocious
little
child's
Soderbergh.
point of view. Here is the boy, brilliantly played by Jesse Bradford, left to his own devices by his parents, has to fear everyone from a hotel bellman that's going to throw him out of his room to the cop on the corner.
Lester, look, the Ripple Viners, the
This
red birds told them where the
seems like
Ford
a
is.
pretty good
It's in
movie.
the alley behind the Davidson house, but I don't have the keys. It doesn't have any gas.
Will you come on?
All right.
Every scene works in this film, building a mosaic of a time when children were given more responsibility than they are today, and the kids respond.
I know why.
Rarely will you see a film in
There
which
is
a
so much
child actor
overlap in their
acts
lists
less like a child than in King of the Hill.
that they were
That
able to
made
do
it
more
very
by
special
slide.
for
They were
me.
able to
It did
slide
make it
up.
special. It was
They
a
only
wonderful
cover
film,
like
a
5
wonderful
movies
period film. It
apiece.
wasn't on my top 10 list, but once again, a great film in a great year. When we come back, more titles on our list of the year's best films.
So in other words, if there were
10
only
best films of 1993,
if they didn't have any
jumping up to
overlap on
number
their
5
list,
on
they
my
would be
list
doing
is a
10
thrilling
movies.
Discovery, a vital film by 21-year-old twin brothers, 21 years old, Alan and Albert Hughes. It's Menace to Society, a drama of the guns and drugs that are
think
everywhere
that's
in the
why they're
Watts
doing
area of
this.
Los Angeles, and often rob small children of
What I
growing
said
up
was
with
true.
the chance
There's a ton
to
of
flourish
overlap on
as
both
human
of
beings.
lists.
I don't want any trouble. Just get out.
There's 13 movies across 2 lists. I
What you say
think.
about my mama? I don't want any trouble. Just get out.
Okay, goddamn, this really is like
what's significant about Menace to
extremely
Society beyond the issues it raises
Don't Be a
is that the
Menace,
Hughes brothers,
which I've seen.
the way they trained as
Not
filmmakers,
this.
represent the future of American movies. They learned their craft
I was
as
bluffing.
teens after their mother, desperate to put some creativity into their lives, bought them a video camera. They shot hundreds of hours of tape and have developed a fluid shooting style that is really something to behold in Menace to Society.
It sure is, and this movie is also on my best 10 list, and it's so heartbreaking the way it shows a character who is not inherently a bad kid. You have to say that because the fact is, he's a dangerous kid, and by the end of the movie, you realize we'd all be safer if he was in
looks
jail
like a great
because his
movie.
environment has given him nothing to do,
I should have seen
basically, but to get involved in the culture of guns and drugs and gangs.
Yeah, I'm just thrilled that these
I haven't
guys
seen
are gonna
Boys
be
in the
making
Hood
more
either.
films, and I have a feeling there are a lot of 20 and
I need to just
19-year-olds
look at the
behind
list
them,
of
ready to shoot
movies
because
that
they
were
have
parodied
been
in
given
Don't Be
video
a Menace
cameras.
and see
I hope
all
so.
of them.
Next choice, in my opinion, one of the most overlooked films of 1993 was a hard-edged, brilliantly acted road picture named California. That's spelled with a K. In a year when the
Wow.
subject of violence in the movies was widely debated, this movie went deeper and
I have
thought
not
harder
seen this movie.
about the subject than any other. A young couple decides to drive cross-country. He's a writer, she's a photographer, and they
Boy
will do a book
Scouts, you
about
mean?
the scenes of famous murders.
Do you mean Boy Scouts
They
in the
need
Hood?
someone to share the driving and the gas and end up with another couple, a spaced-out, moony young woman and her violent, dangerous boyfriend.
Idiot.
Loosen your elbow.
Fuck
Breathe,
you.
you gotta breathe, bud. Hold it. Shoot. Whoa! Hey, Captain! Good one.
You look good with a gun, Brian.
Juliette Lewis and Brad Pitt were so good in this movie as that
And,
sinister young couple that I found
guess
myself
that
completely
Juliette
absorbed
Lewis
and
pees in this
convinced.
movie.
But the movie wasn't simply about violence.
Because
It was
she
about the
pees
attitudes
in
toward violence
Natural
in our
Born
society,
Killers
about how people like the yuppie writer
and
and photographer tend to romanticize
From Dusk Till
criminals until
Dawn.
they experience the feelings of their victims. California, directed by Dominic Sena, deserved to be taken very seriously, and the fact that so many critics missed its greatness suggests perhaps that they
So
couldn't
far, the
see
only movie they've
beneath its
mentioned, I think,
surface.
was
This
The
was
Fugitive,
the best
that I
overlooked
have
movie of the
seen.
year. It's number 6 on my list.
And as you know, I didn't overlook it. I enjoyed it very much when it came out. I thought the idea of, saying, you're writing about evil, all right, here's evil in your back
Yes.
seat. And then the sort of boredom and casual nature of this evil character, I thought that was done in a very fresh way.
This movie does not deserve to
This
be
movie
overlooked. Coming
is
up next,
the bomb.
we move further up on our list of the 10 best of 1993. Selection of the year's best movies.
I can
The
tell you
number
I've
5
seen
title
that
on my
movie.
list is The Joy Luck Club, an extraordinarily emotional film based on Amy Tan's bestseller
Have
about
not
4
seen
older Chinese-American
The Joy
women
Luck Club.
and the experiences they had in early life. The movie begins in present-day San Francisco, where the death of one of the women inspires a reunion in which all of
Looks
their
good. It
stories
looks
are
watchable.
remembered, and we see the tragic and painful experiences they lived through in their native land, where they had to survive not only war and poverty, but also the low status of women.
I was taught to desire nothing, to swallow other people's misery, and to eat my own bitterness.
Last Action Hero would
The
have made
Joy
my
Luck
list
Club
in
was called in some
1993.
circles a 4-handkerchief movie, one hanky for each woman, I guess. And although I dislike language like that, it is true that the movie was extraordinarily effective emotionally.
I need
It
to-
is also
I need
true
to run
it
that
earned
back.
its right to affect us so deeply because its story. The title on my list is The Joy They Had in Early Life, where they had to survive not only war and poverty, but also the low status of women.
I was taught to desire nothing, to swallow other people's misery, and to eat my own bitterness.
The Joy Luck Club was called in some circles a 4-handkerchief movie, one hanky for each woman, I guess. And although I dislike language like that, it is true that the movie was extraordinarily effective emotionally. It is also true that it earned its right to affect us so deeply because
Nothing, to swallow other people's misery, and to eat my own bitterness.
Listen to this.
The Joy Luck Club was called in some circles a 4-handkerchief movie, one hanky for each woman, I guess. And although I dislike language like that, it is true that the movie was extraordinarily effective emotionally. It is also true that it earned its right to affect language like
And to eat my own bitterness.
The Joy Luck Club was called in some circles a 4-handkerchief movie, one hanky for each woman, I guess. And although I dislike language like that, it is true that the movie was extraordinarily effective emotionally. The Joy Luck Club was called in some circles a 4-handkerchief movie, one hanky for each woman, I guess. And although I dislike language like that, it is true that the movie was extraordinarily effective emotionally. The Joy Luck Club was called in some circles a four-handkerchief movie, one hanky for each woman, I guess. And although I dislike language like that, it is true that the movie was extraordinarily effective emotionally. The Joy Luck Club was called in some circles a four-handkerchief movie, one hanky for each woman, I guess. And although I dislike language like that, it is true that the movie was extraordinarily effective emotionally. It is also true that it earned its right to affect us so deeply because its story, directed by Wayne Wang, grew so directly out of the real lives of the women who inspired it. Wang's ability to move back and forth through time, showing us his characters at various stages in their lives, could have been confusing in a lesser film, but he was firmly in control all the time, sweeping us along with the history of these remarkable women.
These women and their daughters. I thought that the film was universal in this
sense.
Had
to throw that whoever he was quoting under the bus.
It was very universal in the way that there's sort of a love-hate relationship,
but still,
with daughters,
like, couldn't come up with a better.
And that I thought is why it had a wide reception, and it's just not perceived of as a Chinese-American film. He did do an excellent job. You have to juggle 8 characters.
I love
here,
him.
And I thought
that is so funny.
His actors just playing him at various times in their lives.
I thought he did a great job.
And by the time you finish this movie, you realize in a way every family in the nation has stories like this.
Exactly right, and it was number 8 on my list. It's a terrific film. Now I'm going to jump up to number 4 on my list, also with a Chinese influence. It's Chen Kaiga's Farewell My Concubine, the best of the many Chinese and China-related films released this year. If China is the most fascinating place on the planet right now, Farewell My Concubine explained the evolution of the nation over the last 50 years, following the fortunes of 2 Peking opera stars.
Too scary.
Farewell My Concubine is an epic work with as big a canvas as Bertolucci's The Last Emperor, but perhaps more insight into the Chinese national characters. We see children in a brilliant opening passage beaten to the point of obedience as part of their opera training. After centuries of such oppression, maybe that's why China seems so open to rapid political change. They are used to being browbeaten.
And you know, once again, this was a movie that had an epic sweep. There were so many movies this year that didn't try to tell a story that took place in 2 afternoons. They took place over 40 years, and they showed you how things began, how they continued, and what the result was.
Weren't you impressed with just the physical work involved? I mean, this picture was, you know, they talk about Hollywood having the ability to do the big picture. This picture has all of those
well, if Hollywood had done this movie, it would have cost $200 million. It didn't quite make my best 10 list, but it would have in any other year. When we come back, more titles from our separate lists of the best films of 1993.
List is Robert Altman's Shortcuts, the great director's companion piece to his movie world satire, The Player. Shortcuts is set in a different part of Los Angeles, the white middle-class world of busted marriages, saloon singers, and men on the prowl. We meet 22 different characters, including this pair at wit's end about their marriage, Matthew Modine and Julianne Moore.
Something's on your mind?
That party.
What party?
You know what party I'm talking about, Marion, the one with Mitchell Anderson.
Jesus, Ralph, that was 3 years ago.
I've not seen this
film. No.
2 more include a divorced Peter Gallagher playing a surprise visit to his ex-wife, Frances McDormand.
Give me that phone. Give it to me. Honey, put your panties on. Whoa. With it. Give it to me. Give it to me.
Altman knits together these stories and those of many more couples like no one else working in the movies today.
I've not seen
He treats us like adults in
Shortcuts.
terms of language and nudity and raw emotion. And what really surprised me about Shortcuts is that for the first hour, I hated most of these characters. But over the next 2 hours, they really gained my grudging respect as I saw them as human beings just trying like everybody else to slug their way through life.
You know, we've said that this year is a golden year for the movies, and certainly it's appropriate that somebody like Altman would be back at the top of his form to help with this celebration, because he's a reminder of the early 70s.
That's
as
correct.
You said, the last golden age when he was coming. And then, of course, in the 80s, which was not a great decade for him
he lost his way.
or for the movies, now we're back again, and it is a terrific film.
This is a 3-hour film. Again, we've had a couple of pictures here that are also broken out of that 2-hour mold. I always like that.
I'm guessing
it's a wonderful film.
Okay, the number 3 title on my list this year was an odd and unusual film shot in New Zealand and called The Piano. Set in the late 19th century, it starred Holly Hunter as a young woman from Scotland who journeys with her daughter to a savage and unfriendly coast where it's been arranged that she will marry a farmer. The woman has not spoken since childhood.
Why would I?
Instead, she
Why on
communicates
earth
through
would
sign language and through her piano. But her new husband has no interest in the instrument.
Maybe.
Come on like this. We're a family now. We all make sacrifices, and so
This is just like an older sister movie, you know?
That's Sam Neill as the husband there, who sells the piano to Harvey Keitel. Wonderful as a rough-edged neighbor who falls in love with the piano's music.
You see his penis,
and
don't
with the
you?
woman who plays
Is this
it.
the movie where you
and
see
that
Harvey
sets a
Keitel's
strange love
penis?
story into motion because this woman is fiercely independent and filled with anger.
Remember
You can't
in
believe
The
an
Critic?
illiterate pioneer will be able to
She's
find
playing the
key to
piano
her
on
heart, but
the
he
beach,
does.
and then
One
a
of the
wave
best
hits her,
performances in the
and
piano,
then
by the way, is by
there's
Anna Paquin.
there's
the
like a
child who
squiddly
plays the
diddly
daughter.
looking
It's a marvelous
octopus
film. It was also number
sitting
3
at the
on
piano
my
with
list.
her playing
And
it.
when I think about this picture, I saw it a couple of times. Once in
Remember the
Paris,
slide
once here in the
whistle?
States.
Remember The Critic? They did the
I felt like I
slide
had
whistle.
really entered a world. I mean, we talk about that. Certainly, when I'm talking about Farewell My
Critic was
Concubine,
so-
I'm visiting the past in China. But
It'd be
in
very
this
fun to
film,
watch
I
every
felt
movie that
as
The
though-
Critic references.
Really,
It's a
I had just stumbled.
Maybe that's a theme.
It's a hermetically sealed world.
Yes.
It's a world of its own time.
Yes,
and
It'd be the same. It'd be the exact stream I just did.
And now I can get back. That's a tribute to director Jane Campion. She's making the most interesting films
Every
about
movie
women
referenced
today
by Plump Fiction.
and in the world cinema, and she is a major director.
Coming up next, Gene and I both talk about our choices for the best film of the year. Into the home stretch in our countdown of 1993's best movies, the number 2 film on my list this year was by the great director Martin Scorsese. It was called The Age of Innocence, and it told the story of characters in the upper crust of New York society in the late 19th
I have not
century.
seen this film.
Daniel Day-Lewis starred as a man engaged to marry the proper daughter of an important family, but instead he falls in love with her cousin, a divorced countess.
At this
who has
point,
just
I would say
returned
I've
from
seen
Europe. His fiancée is played here by Winona
roughly
Ryder.
half
The
of
countess
his
is played by
movies.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
She thinks I want to marry her at once
Martin Scorsese Pictures.
to get away from someone that I care for more.
The Age of Innocence is the kind of film that builds up its power steadily
I've
until
seen
the final
Alice. I've
scenes in
seen
which we
After
feel the
Hours. I've
emotional
seen
legacy
Goodfellas. I've
of a
seen
lifetime
I've
of
seen
repression. The people in it almost always
Wolf of
behave
Wall
in a
Street.
subtle and reserved way, not saying what they mean, concealing their emotions beneath the good manners of an orderly society. So it's a shock when we
Taxi
realize
Driver.
what passion, what scheming
Not
and
Hugo.
plotting and intrigue is seething under that very proper surface.
I like the word seething because Scorsese's other films, his best-known films, Taxi Driver, Raging
What's the
Bull,
one with the
were
rat?
very much about seething,
Raging
but
Bull.
up front. Here it's there.
King of
It's
Comedy.
taking another
I've seen
form, and I think if people go to see this picture thinking of, could the same man have made this picture, I think that will inform this picture in a way that'll make it very exciting for them.
I think you're
It's
right,
on
and
it's on my best list, too.
That's good. Okay.
Now my
I love
choice
it.
for
I
the
do
number
love the
one,
idea of a
best
child
film of
robot.
1993. It's Schindler's List, Steven
Secret.
Spielberg's epic about the
Okay.
Holocaust and how one man, a German industrialist named Oskar Schindler, defied and outwitted
Can
the
I
Nazis to
make
save
it
the lives of over
on
1,100
Schindler's
Jews.
List?
Liam Neeson plays Schindler, who was helped in his efforts by a Jewish businessman played by Ben Kingsley.
The calendar
What
on
do
my
you think?
desk has the birthdays of
Have I
our
seen-
SS
have I
friends'
seen
wives and
Schindler's
children.
List?
Don't forget to send something. The Armaments Board, the Governor General's Division of the Interior, and Chief of Police as fees, and make them on the 1st of each month. As opposed to individual payoffs to our SS contacts, the list is in the lower drawer of my desk, which is SS contacts list, lower drawer of my desk, which you handle as cash contributions to legitimate charities sent, of course, through each official's office.
Of the many, many things I admire about this film, I want to focus now on the violence of the picture. I was very impressed that Spielberg put it on the screen
Every
unvarnished, not romanticized.
Best Picture
It shows
winner.
the hatred of Jews and the sheer joy and pleasure
Up to about
so many Germans and Poles
2013.
displayed while killing them. They loved doing it, and he shows it. That I didn't expect to
Which
see
Schindler's
from Spielberg.
List is
so often so sweet in
one
his films,
of.
spanning pure evil,
Also,
pure goodness.
I did
Schindler's List is
see it
easily the best
in
film
a
of the year.
classroom
Well, Gene, it's
setting.
also number 1 on my list. And
Good.
to me, this was one of the great movie-going experiences of a lifetime.
I don't
when
remember
make
if it
up
was
my
high school
list of those times in the
or
theater
college.
when the movie has really reached out and touched me in the very deepest parts of who I am.
But I remember
Schindler's
watching
List
it
is
in
going
a
to be
classroom.
on my list. And I agree with you that Spielberg here shows a restraint that he doesn't often show in his other films, as an
Also
entertaining as they may
for
be. For example, there's a scene involving a character named Poldek Pfefferberg.
I did a
as
school
young
project
man
on Spielberg
who's left
movies.
to clean up some
Kind of a
suitcases that have been
contrarian
left
one because I
behind.
don't
And when
like
the
Spielberg
Nazis
mostly.
approach
And I
to save
watched
himself, he
every
has to think
Spielberg
very quickly.
movie.
And notice here how Spielberg doesn't go for some kind of
Up
obvious
to a
melodrama,
point.
but just lets it play on a very realistic level.
I respectfully report I've been given orders to clear the
that was in
vandals from the road,
college.
so there will be no obstructions to the thoroughfare.
Tennis, enjoying the lines, little
And I think I saw.
clicking soldier.
You know, the studio had some concern as to whether people would want to
I've
see this
seen every
picture, and
Spielberg
apparently
movie
the box office
up
is proving them
to,
wrong because it's doing great business. And
AI.
I think that's because
AI I had not seen
when
until we
people
watched it.
say they don't want to see a depressing film, what they're really
year,
saying is they don't want to
I
see a
think.
film that's going to depress them by being bad, because no good film is depressing. It can be about depressing subject matter, but the artistry and the vision here and the ending of this film are exhilarating.
The people aren't bored. This is a 3-hour picture. They're not leaving.
Yeah,
So I've seen
They're
Schindler's
sitting
List.
there watching the entire credit list. They're coming out.
And I've seen The Fugitive. I think they're going to show their lists
telling people
now.
they
I'll
should see it.
double
In the
check.
line of the waiting, coming in, people are saying, you're in for, something
Okay, so
special.
Schindler's List first on both of our lists. What else is on your list?
Okay, let me read now my entire top 10 list from bottom to top, starting with number 10, Vincent Ward's Map of the Human Heart. A youthful love story spanning decades and locations as varied as an Eskimo ice floe and London during the German Blitz of World War II. Number 9, Steven Soderbergh's depression story, King of the Hill. Number 8, Wayne Wang's The Joy Luck Club.
No.
Number 7, Martin Scorsese's The Age of Innocence.
No.
Number 6, Andrew Davis's classic Hollywood thriller. This was certainly one of the most exciting films out of Hollywood in a long time, The Fugitive. Number 5, Menace to Society.
No.
Number 4, Chen Kaiga's Farewell, My Concubine.
No.
Number 3, Jane Campion's feminist love story, The Piano.
No.
Number 2, Robert Altman's Shortcuts.
No.
And the number 1 best film of 1993, Steven Spielberg's Schindler's List.
Yes.
Okay, now here's my list of the year's best films. Number 10, Ruby in Paradise by Victor Nunez, with a glowing performance by Ashley Judd as an independent young woman who makes her own way in the world.
I'd never heard of this movie.
Number 9, What's Love Got to Do with It?
No.
Number 8, Menace to Society.
No, again.
Number 7, Like Water for Chocolate, the enchanting, magical Mexican film about a woman who poured all of her passion, and a lot of other good stuff too, into her recipes. Number 6, California, a great film. Don't let this one get away. Number 5, The Joy Luck Club. Number 4, the year's best action thriller, The Fugitive, with Harrison Ford on the run and Tommy Lee Jones after him. Number 3, The Piano, with its special performances by Holly Hunter and Harvey Keitel. Number 2, Martin Scorsese's The Age of Innocence. And number 1 on my list, the year's best film, Steven Spielberg's great and daring epic Schindler's List. And you know, if you just added these two lists together and started looking at them, you'd see some great movies.
So literally,
very
The
exciting
Fugitive.
as we conclude this century, this first century of world filmmaking, and we are getting great films from all over the world now. New Zealand, China, England, and America, too.
That's right.
That's it for this special show. Next week, we'll be back to cover the other end of the spectrum on our annual program devoted to the worst films of the year. One last shot before they disappear
We gotta
in
do
the
that at some
dustbin
point.
of video stores throughout the world. That's next week, and until then, the balcony is closed.
We gotta do a worst of. Oh, that's fun. All right, well, that's kind of that's the end of it, fellas. That's everything I had planned.
It's Charlie.
Thank you for coming to hang out. At some point, we're gonna do our '80s best of show. And unless I think of other themes, the year motif is pretty fun for me. It's kind of, it's fairly brainless. I just have to pull a bunch of trailers from one year and, I like it. The first stream we did, we looked at the movies from 2003.
What do we do?
So I was thinking maybe next time we when I have to pull for a year theme, maybe we'll do 2013. We'll do like the threes. I don't know what I don't know what my limit is with that. Like with decade, like doing an individual year for a decade. But according to the thing, we got 5 viewers. I don't know. They're probably being quiet, but yeah, we'll just do Hi Soto. I figured. It's cool. It's cool. I'm not begging for an immediate response. I'm just voicing kind of what's in my head, you know? That's all I'm doing here tonight. But yeah. I like theme shows, I like the year shows. And we'll keep doing this on Thursday, cuz for the foreseeable future I'm going to have Thursday off. Thanks for hanging out. I had fun. And I'll see you next time, huh, boys? Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for the nice words. All right. We'll catch you later. Good night.